Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to you, August 14th, 2025. For those that don't know, this is Rick with Hit and Run Candlesticks. Hey, Daryl, good morning. Thomas, Jim, Dave, Rally, Gold, uh, Sonny. Sonny keeps me awake here in the morning. He's always here first. Mike, Sonny, and thank you, Sonny. Appreciate that. Love seeing you up there. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing here? Let's see. Rick, good morning. Good morning. It's awfully early. Hey, I want to thank everybody here, so early. I know our time change. For the purposes of the recording, we start at 7:30 Eastern time, okay? Also, I want to mention that don't forget to check us out on YouTube and our social network, which is Facebook, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and there's a few others, but those are the big ones there. Members of Hit and Run Candlesticks and trial members, please remember to keep your apps on. Um, I got a couple, normally I get things coming back from people that say, "Hey, man, I didn't get that alert," or "My app's not working." But it was really kind of cool that I received some notes from folks that they went and they traded RGT when I did. They got into it and they closed yesterday pretty much like I did. As I posted on the app, closing RGT out or half of it out at what was it, 40? Let me look up here. Yeah, 44% up into our target range and keeping, I only bought two contracts because we held it into earnings. So closed half, still holding half, still looking for it to move up. This 1950 would be pretty sweet, to tell you the truth. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there, right? Let's keep an eye on it. So anyway, make sure you've got that app on, and I'll see what I can do to help you out with that. All right, let's take a look at the market real quick here. Bulls are up. We're on a nice trend. Hey, something I don't mention this too often because we don't. I don't know why we don't. It's something we used to mention all the time, and it's a T-line run, and it's where price action moves above the T-line. The T-line is the black line, by the way, the 8 exponential moving average. When we move above that, and no matter what the candle looks like, as long as we close above the T-line, that's called a T-line run. Let me make that bigger. There we go. That's called a T-line run. So it's just running up the T-line. Bearishness would be running down the T-line. It'd be below it. And that's what we've got here. And it can last for quite some time. It really can. I would urge everyone to go back and just take a look at a chart and see how they work. You'd be amazed what you might learn just watching that, the runs that never close below the T-line here. And that's what we've got. So we'll watch for, this is where it's really nice, a good trade strategy plan. I love it, where we run and rest, run and rest, run and rest, holding above the T-line. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. As long as we're above the T-line, watch for those little rests. That might give some great entries. And then, you rally to the upside. Now, I know we're looking at the SPY, and the SPY does the same thing. A lot of people here might not trade the SPY. This can be done on any chart. But that's one way I follow the SPY, if it's, to see if it's still bullish, still working. So keep, that's something there to watch. Q's acting absolutely wonderful, still headed to target. Target's first target up here that we have marked is about 585, maybe 586. Once we get through that one, we'll look at the next target, which we'll reevaluate. I'm not so sure. We're going to use the 591 area here, but let's get through the first one first. Hey, good morning, Coach. Good morning, Joe. Val, good morning. Great big good morning to you. Let's see, Diamonds. Diamonds did a great job yesterday breaking out. We've got 2 big days up, so if it wants to have a lazy day, it kind of makes sense to me. It's not looking awfully lazy. We're not breaking out big, but it's not looking lazy. But anything above that 445 right there, I would say the diamonds are doing just fine. So we could get a little bit of rest. See, we're starting that T-line run there. We could get a little bit of rest and then make that next journey to the upside. IWM was probably the star yesterday. Man, that you just ripped. And the day before, look at that, crazy. What's going on? Well, when you're following the charts, and which I think following the charts is the best thing to do, it doesn't really matter what's going on. It really doesn't when you think about it. All I need to look for is his price above the T line, his T line above the trend indicator. Are we putting in a chart pattern? And does the market have my back? There's charting right there. That's what I'm going to look for. Let's take a look at T2123. Extremely bullish, looking very good. Price is above the T line. T line is above the trend indicator. This yellow line, I stuck this up, I don't know, a few months ago, just as another third line in there. And it's just a 34 EMA. Well, we're over that now. And if you look, we climbed under it and stayed there. And I stayed pretty much, super cautious while we were down there. Now that we're above, foot free or foot loose and fancy free. Market's bullish, and I'm going to trade the market. So we're looking good there. The VIX, there's no fear in the VIX. All is looking good at that point. So what I see now is the market is bullish. You just have to wait and watch for some of those landmines out there that, the market does try to trip you up a little bit. So transports broke out. That's looking good. Watch for a little rest. That's what happens when you break out. Takes a lot of work. And now a little bit of rest, and then we'll see if we can't move up higher there. All right. Oh, let's see. Is it Anil? Good morning, Anil. Sharon, good morning. Good morning, Terry Gill. And what other one do we have here? SMH. Let's take a look at SMH. There we go. SMH is bullish. So it's hard. It really is hard to be bearish in this market. There are some bearish charts out there. I don't have any to look at right now, but it's tough to be bearish in this market. All right. So I just had a message here. Yeah, we'll talk about RGTI one more time. And then, yes, we'll go back and talk about CNC. So yesterday, day before yesterday, before the close, in the trading room, we were kind of having a little fun, joking around, and RGTI had earnings, and I decided why not? It's only money, right? So just bought 2 contracts of RGTI, and the earnings came out and I don't really dig into the earnings itself. It's all about the chart for me. So unimpressive. And all day yesterday, unimpressive. It was like, oh man, well, at least it didn't go down, right? That's what I thought. And toward the end of the day, RGTI caught some fire, just crazy fire, and rallied up to our target. I took that 44% off, closed half the trade, still have half the trade, and still looking for another 14% up here, getting into that 19, maybe the $20 area on that one. Okay. CNC, I had somebody a person asked about that RGTI and CNC. So CNC was one yesterday we talked about right here for the first time this morning. As I mentioned during the pre-market yesterday, I was going to buy this, and I bought this just right away yesterday morning after the open. Currently 8% it's going to be closer to 10% to the upside right now. And it's setting up in one of the chart patterns that we call a pinball setup. Don't have time this morning to talk about that, but we've got a nice long bottom right in here. These are my targets that I'm looking at right now. To me, there's going to be what I'm going to call a minor target right in this area of about 29.50, 29.60. I'm not going to draw a line in there. Maybe it won't notice that line. Who knows? But what I'm looking at, first target is going to be about 19% up there. The second target is about 34% up there. And then I should have kept that, I guess. And then ultimately 50%. That's my sweet spot. That's where I would love price to get to. And that would be something I'm going to try to work for there. So CNC's looking pretty good here. Still looks great. All right. Hey, a couple of charts. Hey, good morning, Daryl. Coach, did I say good morning, Coach? Good morning, Coach. Let's see here. Let's take a look at C. Look at C. So I think C is working out very nice. We have a nice trend in C. Let's put trend up there. And when I draw trend, I use my trend. Okay, my trend is the red and green dots, red dots, green dots. That's my trend. I don't care what price does. Now I might fudge a little bit, but overall that trend is what I'm trading. So that's my trend. And you can see here that we've come down and hit that straight line, that static line. We've kind of bounced around and up, and here we are. Next target up is about that $100 mark on Citi there. That looks pretty good. QBTS. Take a look at QBTS. That's setting up. QBTS, we've got a nice pop to the upside, nice pullback. We've got some consolidation. We've attacked the 50% area, and that would be this right here, twice. So once, twice. For me, that what that says to me is that we're looking to break through that area right there, break through, boom. And it's working at it. It's not giving up. Here we've got a nice trend to the upside. You can see the green dots starting to work. So I think this is just a great chart. This might be one I get today where, it breaks out, then it's likely to do some sort of test and then move up into that 21 area with a target, target here, then target there. And say from about 1870 up to the top is about 12% on the stock. So it's probably 30% on the option there. Okay. Yes, Sharon, good morning. Is this live? Yes, this is live right now. This is not, the recording will be out later, but right now this is live. If you have questions, please ask. Please feel free. Red cat, there we go. Red cat's another one that I've got my eyeballs on. Let's see here. You can see the 50 period moving average is trending. If I go from this low to right there, that last green dot, you can see that we're trending there. Price is down, and now here it's come up, and now we've got a nice sideways action to the downside. You've got a top on it. The candle is creating the top. The wicks are creating the top. And look at the bottom. The T line and the trinicator is creating the bottom, giving this a nice little kind of a pennant, or, we can straighten it out and call it a box right in there. So this line, right, you guys can see that line right there. Let me make that green. There we go. Right here. That's that 50% mark that I look for. We break out of that becomes some pretty darn good support. And now we can look at moving up. And from here, what is that? 28%. That's huge. That's huge. Hey, good morning, Neil. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, William, good morning. Good morning. William wants us to look at XHB. Let's see here. Super bullish, very nice. If you're in it, I think that's a great chart. If you're not in it, I don't think I'd be buying it this high. Now, when I say that, please, you have to understand my trading, okay? And you know what? Let me draw this somewhere else. Let me draw this right here. My trading, and that's all I can do is my trading. And see how we've rallied up and pulled back, rallied up, Well, we need a pullback. I mean, it's a great looking chart. Absolutely fantastic. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful chart. But timing is important. And I'm a swing trader. I'm a, in and out, in and out, in and out, hit and run, hit and run. That's a beautiful chart. I'm going to flag that. I'm going to write that down. Thank you. Thank you very much there, William. Appreciate it. And the next one is good old Amazon. Amazon looks bullish to me. And on my large account, I own Amazon to the long side. And, here Amazon is, had this big run up. And then we marked that bottom, and that's what gave us our target areas. Well, here we've popped up, and now we're just consolidating. Bulls are trying to step in. We're bouncing off the 50-period moving average. My golden target is I've really gotten to where I use that 50% mark a lot. And that's what it looks like to me where we're headed. That can create a little bit of turbulence. Price might shake right there. Price might even act like it's going to be bearish. We don't know what it's going to look like. I'm going to be on the bullish side of this. Once it breaks out, the next target is up here in that 234, 235 area. And then we get a breakout there in that 240 area. So far, I'm bullish on Amazon. Okay. AI. Good morning, Coach. AI gap fill. Absolutely, it could. Here's what I'm not too keen on is just the continued movement. I don't get into charts that move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, 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 all the way up. The likelihood is slim, so I don't generally trade that. But here's what I would look for, and I will. I mean, if this happens, you buy it. Let me know. I'll buy it with you. We go from a low. We need to get that high. We need to rest, and rest could be sideways or down a little bit. And then let's get those bulls back in the game. Boom, 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 boom. When we cross that level there, you let me know. I'll be in with you. And then, yes, let's look for that gap fill. Absolutely. That would be very nice. So I'm with you on that one. Hey, Dave. MSOX. Let's see what we've got here. MSOX. Beautiful. Long-term down. Yeah, it's moving, but I think it's watch list material. Timing is important. Up, back, up. We need to back here. So right now that trend is doing fantastic. I should have, there's your trend, something like that. So what we need is price to pull back a little bit and set up for us. I'd be afraid to buy it up there. But you're absolutely right. I'm going to look at the weekly here. Look at that. Look at that bottom right there. Just huge bottom. And long term, that's great. And look how it even looks right there. Looks absolutely amazing. So yes, I think this one, in fact, I am. Let's write that down. What is that? MSOX. That is nice, actually. So now let's just wait and be patient. Wait and be patient. So this is really cool because here in the room, I know what a lot of you guys do is, you'll watch stocks like this too. And when they set up, you're posting, hey, I'm looking at MSOX or, you just bought MSOX or, whatever you might be, whatever stock it is. And what that does is it helps everybody in the room to maybe go look at it and decide if they want to buy it too. So it's fantastic teamwork. So thank you. Yeah, look forward to that. Right here is a perfect example of that pullback. This is just a bigger move up right there. Thank you for that one. Thank you very much. Let's see. Sharon, in your big account regarding Amazon, what percentage will you sell when it gets to your target? Well, Um, let's see what percentage of the account. Let's see, AMZN. There we go. You mean like all the positions? And I think I have 10 contracts. I think I don't have the account open right now. If it reaches this area here, I'll sell all. I'll sell it completely. Okay, because what this area does is this will create a bit of a. It should. I not. You know, I wish I could say it 100%, but it should create a little bit of a little bit of trouble right in here, and then we should see a little consolidation. So I'll sell it because it hit my target. That's a rule that I've really tried to stick with. Sell it when it hits the target. I can always buy it back, assuming it sets up. So the setup would be maybe it wants to pull back a little bit. If I see this again, then I'll start buying it again. Once we break out of this area, well, once we challenge this area, the next move is easier to get through. And then we've got this up here. Okay. So, but I will be selling at target. And see, this is where the resistance and price starts coming in as well over here. Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Hey, Neil. WRB. Ouch. Let's write that one down, folks. WRB. What a nice chart. Yeah, what a really nice chart. Yesterday in the trading room, we talked about this. Where looking at the trend, I think we were talking about the T line yesterday, but we're going to look at the my trend today, trend line, which is the green and red dots. So you can see how we trended up and then we trended down, and now we're starting to trend up. Well, this is a collapse. We collapsed down. Okay. We've come down to what we call the dotted deuce. It's just a modified 200 period moving average right there. And now we're starting up. Well, we've got a low, we've got a high, we've got a higher low, and now we've made a higher high over the 50 period moving average. Now, this right here is one of my favorite things to do. Come over here and grab that tool, mark that top and bottom, and I'm going to put this box right here. So price has come back 50%. It's retraced back 50% of the top and the bottom. I think that's fantastic. Okay, that's a super chart. I might have to buy this. So ideally, I would like to buy in this area right here. Now let's duplicate this. We're already at what I would put as my first target above that 50%. So let's just climb up here. Let's duplicate that again, and we'll just move that up. So there's two targets above that I see on this WRB right in here. What a nice chart. So if we buy in here, first target, that's only 2% away, but hey, 2% is 2%. If you're buying options, that's going to be 5, 6, 7. That's 3, maybe 4% up there. So, maybe 12, 15% if you're buying the options. What a beautiful, beautiful setup, though. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Neil. Appreciate it. Hey, Daryl, you're watching CAG. I agree with you. Absolutely. CAG is not going to be, we talked about the pinball setup yesterday a little bit. And CAG, it sort of kind of falls in that area, sort of kind of, but it's not. It doesn't meet the criteria for the spread between the price or the 34 EMA or the 50 simple up here. But it doesn't take away that the chart just might be bottoming here. Here we're down big time. Very, very oversold. So here we are starting to come up. And here's something let me draw this line. Let me do this real quick. I'll take it from here. Go down. There you go. So here's our 50% retracement. All right. Now I'm going to do this right over here. That area right there, see that dotted line, first dotted line. That's the construction area of building that bottom. When we break out of this, we will break out of the 50-period moving average and that constructed bottom. So if you think about building a house, you dig a hole to put the foundation in. Well, this is the foundation, and then what happens is, let me get my drawing tools. I'm gonna get real creative this morning here. Okay, there we go. We're gonna have a blue house. So once we break out of the foundation, the dirt work, now what we do is we put a house up, just like that. All right, here we'll put a little something like that. There we go. Now we can trade in this area. And there's nothing wrong with trading in this area, okay? Nothing at all. But I think that's looking fantastic. Little bit of work to get through, and then it's like, all right, we're out of the dirt, we're out of the bottom. We've created that bottom. Now we can put our house together and trade to the upside. So super chart. I'm going to flag that. CAG. Thank you very much, Daryl. And Daryl, thanks for all your posts on Facebook. Really, really appreciate it. Okay. Nice to see you here. But thank you for everything you post on Facebook. All right, let's see. What time is it? We can go a little longer. Check D out. Look at D. Look at D setting up. So here's one I took from what is his high? August 22. It's a long time ago. Down to the lows. And you can see that we've come right up to that 50% retracement. And also you can see that I probably should extend this, shouldn't I? There you go. You can see that top right through there. See the top over here. Let me extend this longer. There we go. Man, that totally makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, that just makes all the sense in the world. You've got price, 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 price. Oh, man. So ultimately, we want this to break out. So we start to break out. Targets to the upside that I have are about that 70 and 75 area. Let's take a look at the weekly on this. There's the weekly. We're already broken out of the 200-period moving average. Yeah. Take a look at D. Let's keep that on our watch list. Let's see another one. LBTR. LBTR. Whoops, that's not. Did I write it? LBTR. Huh. I must have wrote it down. I know which one. LTBR. Maybe LTBR. There we go. LTBR. I've got a target of between $19.50 and $20. Maybe just an even $20 up here. We had a nice breakout a couple days ago. I think yesterday was just, hey, it was just part of the market. It was just moving around. We didn't break down. I think that's great. I think we're looking good here. And, we're talking 14, 15%, depending where it's bought in this area right here. CMG. This is one of these coming off the bottom. This is what we talked about yesterday. Very similar to that CNC. We're in that bottom construction area. Here's where the 50% retracement is. Looking at the July highs to the lows, we're also about the 50-period moving average, and there's approximately 14% in there that we would, that's our playground right there. That's our playground right here. So we'll maybe look to be in this. I can't be in every one of them that I talk about. Everybody in a room, they're not in every one I'm in. Everybody's in, different trades, but it's one I'm looking at. Maybe somebody here likes it. Okay. All right. Hey, let's call this a morning here. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for your questions. For those that watch our YouTube videos, give us a thumbs up. Sure appreciate that. Check us out on social media. We really love thumbs up comments on social media. So please do that. I'll find out the dates. I think I have an open house coming up, and I'll find out that date and let you know what time that will be too. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you when the market opens up. All right. Take care.